Now we get to the interesting part of our program, full with analytics and commentaries by our guest, international lawyer and political commentator Orhan Omashov. Hey Orhan, glad to see you again. I would like to discuss the circumstances pertaining to the Tory leadership race unfolding in the United Kingdom. As we all know, Boris Johnson was forced to resign from the post of Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Can we perhaps start by taking a glance at how his downfall was orchestrated?
Boris Johnson, I think that one of the greatest British Prime Ministers of the past 10 years. And I think that his journey, his tenure, should have lasted at least decades. And the posterity should have been in a position of remembering the 20s as a golden age of BoJo's. But here we are. From the very beginning, when he assumed the position of Prime Minister, the attacks mounted against him, but he was absolutely indomitable. Boris Johnson's role in British history is there. It's firmly fixed, entrenched. We remember Brexit campaign. For example, before the Brexit campaign, in Britain, no man in his right mind would have said that UK was going to leave the European Union. But Boris Johnson's role within the campaign, his opposition to David Cameron, ensured that Brexit campaign defeated Stay campaign. And eventually, on the 23rd of June 2016, British electorate voted in favour of leaving European Union. And then there was disarray because Theresa May, who was a reluctant Remainer, a person who not actively campaigned for Remain, but was still Remainer on the side of David Cameron, she failed miserably to pull the strings. And in 2019, there was a chaos in British politics, and Boris Johnson again emerged as a saviour. And he became the leader of the Conservative Party, defeating Jeremy Hunt. And afterwards, he wanted to prorogue Parliament, but it was impossible. And then there was a new general election, the biggest Conservative victory since the time of Margaret Thatcher. Afterwards, he managed to finalise Brexit deal. So Brexit was sheer impossibility, and Boris did it. So that's one thing about him. And also he was a mayor of London from 2008 to 2016. London is a very Labour-inclined city. It's very difficult for a Tory person to be a mayor there, but Boris achieved it because Boris's fundamental quality is that he's a Tory, of course, but some people, certain segments of the British society were voting for Boris, not because he was conservative, but because he was Boris. He had a persona beyond party politics. And I think that during his tenure, he managed a fantastic job tackling COVID and many other things. His leadership during the Ukrainian crisis was absolutely magnificent. He was the most active leader in the Western world. And what happened? Effectively, those people who strongly believed in Brexit, in particular substantial segments of the British establishment, they have never forgiven Boris for what he has achieved. And the media was involved in it. And Boris Johnson, before the vote of no confidence motion in June, said that let us not dance to the tune of the media. But sadly, what happened, there was a coalition of Remainers, anti-Boris segment, and some scandals like Partygate, Chris Pincher's story. I believe that history has this uncanny propensity to distinguish the substantial matters from trivialities. And in the fullness of time, history will judge Boris Johnson as a great British Prime Minister who achieved things beyond his tenure. And he will go down in the annals of the British history as one of the most consequential, transformative leaders. So I think the campaign mounted against him was completely ludicrous, idiotic, but it is the way British politics are conducted. And Boris fought till the end, but eventually Parliamentary Conservative Party reacted very swiftly, and eventually he needed to resign. But his defiance stayed in his resignation speech. He said that no one is remotely indispensable in politics, and I think that speaks volumes.
Now that the race has reduced down to two major candidates, Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss are competing for the hot seat. What do their chances look like? Can you please analyze and give us your assessment? How will it turn out?
Yeah, the field has been whittled down to the last two contenders, and it was expected because Rishi Sunak was pretty much safe. He was in the lead, and the major question was whether Penny Mordaunt or Liz Truss would oppose Rishi Sunak at the last stage. Initially, Penny's chances were very high, but I think at a later stage, the Brexiteer segment of the Conservative Party, which is very loyal to Boris Johnson, realised that the candidate who can defeat Sunak is Liz, not Penny Mordaunt. And why Penny Mordaunt is not the right candidate? Because Penny fundamentally lacks top-notch government experience. She was a junior trade minister. There are some allegations that she was absent from department work, probably unfounded. Some people are saying that her policy on transgender matters was flip-flop. So there's a lack of integrity, and I think Ian Duncan Smith recently saying that we do not know very much about Penny Mordaunt. We don't know what her policy is all about, because she looks quite attractive, she's got charisma, she has got gravitas, but we do not know what she stands for. It is very clear that she's a Borisite, although, interestingly enough, probably lots of people don't know that, she was sacked by Boris Johnson as a defence secretary because in 2019, the Tory leadership race, she was on the side of Jeremy Hunt. But this particular moment does not make her anti-Boris. So from that perspective, both Mordaunt and Liz Truss are Borisites. And in this battle, I think at critical juncture, Tory membership needed to respond to two fundamental questions. So first of all, who can defeat Sunak? Because we need to ensure that Sunak must be defeated. And once Sunak is defeated, there could be a new general election. And who can defeat the leader of the opposition, Starmer? So I think that two things should be balanced by the Conservative membership. I've been told on numerous occasions that if Conservative Party were in a position, probably Penny Mordaunt would have been the right choice, because being the leader of the opposition is one thing, being a leader of the Tory Party as Prime Minister are totally different things. I think that in terms of Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak, two fundamental factors played an important role. One of them, former, I refer to Liz Truss. She's currently the Foreign Secretary, and Rishi Sunak is a former Chancellor. And these people reach the very pinnacle, and they may feel it's their time to shine. Penny Mordaunt, on the other side, has never had a top government job. Junior trade minister is an important job, but it is not up to the scratch. And some interesting people were telling me that there are certain anti-Irish sentiments in the British establishment which might have militated against Penny Mordaunt's chances. But I spoke to a couple of members of the Penny Mordaunt team, and they've told me that this is out of the question. The most important thing is that it's a lack of experience. And it seems now that Brexiteer segment of the Conservative Party and those people who believe that Boris Johnson has unfairly toppled are going to gather around Liz Truss. Liz Truss has gravitas. Liz Truss has assumed heightened importance in the context of Ukrainian crisis. She is very much liked abroad. She looks like Boris continuity, and this Tory debate is all about treacherous Sunak versus Boris continuity. But from that perspective, I think that Liz Truss's chances are great. So we will see how it's going to work out. But my feeling is that even if the Parliamentary Conservative Party might have backed Sunak because of his, competence, because of his appeal, because of his connection to the one nation conservative values, but when it goes to the Tory membership, the result will be reversed. And if Boris continuity is to be maintained, Liz Truss will emerge as a leader and the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom of Great Britain. But it is another question whether Liz Truss will be able to beat Starmer, because I'm absolutely sure that once this Tory leadership race is over, you will see on Twitter many sharings that Tory is unfit to govern. We have not chosen this lady and we need a new general election. Same thing happened when Boris Johnson assumed the leadership of the Tory party in 2019, and some Labourites saying the same thing, but they were silenced in the clearest possible way by Boris Johnson's grand victory. May I say, at the very end, all of these candidates deserve respect, but all of them cumulatively, all together, wouldn't make a small fraction of the grand persona of Boris Johnson. That's my estimation.
Top-notch analysis as always, Orhan. I appreciate this very much and I look forward for our future meetings.
Thank you very much, Ilham.
Thank you.
Grateful.
That was all for the week. Thank you very much for watching us and stay tuned not to miss the next edition of our program.